What is up, everybody? It's your boy Shazwi, and welcome back to another video, Shazwi gang. Yeah, how is everybody doing? I'm doing all right. If you're new to this channel and you're clicking on me for the very first time, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and also turn that post notification button so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Now, with that being said, let's get straight into today's content. Let's go, everybody. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope that you're all staying safe and healthy during this crazy time. I had a health scare the other day, but I won't get into details of that, okay? I am COVID free and I'm making sure I'm taking the right precautions. Tamai, I can see you looking at me out of the corner of my eye. Stop giving me the weird um, no, so let's get straight into today's content. I know it's been a while since I filmed a video. I last did the reaction video, which was about 5 days ago. It's been a while, but you guys know how it is. So I was really conflicted on what to title this video, but I just decided to title it is Black Lives Matter Too Narrow. And some of you may be confused by what the title is or what inspired it, so let me just give you some background. So I was watching this interview that happened, well, technically it happened on Monday, but I just watched it yesterday. So it was an interview with Don Lemon and Terry Crews. So you guys know who Don Lemon is. For those of you who don't know, he's a host on CNN and he does his own shows. He's got podcasts, stuff like that. And then you have Terry Crews, who, kind of, legendary actor. A lot of people know him. He's known as the muscly guy, host on America's Got Talent, famous on White Chicks. La 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 la. Yeah, everybody knows Terry Crews. So they were doing an interview, right? And this interview got a lot of dislikes. Like last time I was on YouTube, like I think it had like 10,000 likes and like 20, almost 30,000 dislikes. So, I mean, even I disliked the video. I mean, I like Don Lemon. I think he's a really good presenter, someone who's good at voicing his opinion. But I didn't like the way he conducted himself or how he conducted that interview. I feel like he kept talking over Terry Crews. He didn't let him finish his points. He was very dismissive of the argument, and this is what the argument was about. So Don invited Terry onto his show to pretty much talk about his concerns about the Black Lives Matter movement. So recently, Terry Crews has been displaying what I would call coonery, okay? Coon behavior. We're basically, if y'all know what a coon is, basically it's like a black person who I guess can be described as, I guess, not self-hating, but someone who tries is to appease to the oppressor and isn't really someone who supports the oppressed. It's, yeah, not really Uncle Ruckus, but something like that. So a coon, okay, so it says here, if there's a definition, whatever. But yeah, basically a coon is someone who's just not for the culture. A coon is basically the kind of black person who, would probably always have a problem with the black people trying to do something. They'll be like, guys, we should just be cool with the white people and just do what they say. It's the kind of person who won't be out there to support the movement or support black people, but at the same time, they'll say things against it and they aren't bringing solutions to the problem. So I guess the best way to describe a coon, another example would be people who support guns, and whenever mass shootings happen, they don't bring solutions. All they just say is we should give people their rights and just let things be. So Terry recently has been, posting a lot of tweets, and he was saying a lot of problematic things. Like, for example, he said something like, if you're a child of God, you are my brother and sister. I have family of every race, creed, and ideology. We must ensure Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better. And that's something that they talked about on the show, Don Lemon and Terry Crews. And I really don't like that. And I thought that was a very dangerous statement to make Black Lives Better, because a lot of people always twist Black Lives Matter into All Lives Matter. And the thing is, what they don't understand is that, yes, we understand all lives do matter, but according to how black people are treated in this country, that's not what's happening. And so Terry said he saw a dangerous self-righteousness developing from the movement where certain people really viewed themselves as better. He says it was almost a supremacist move where their Black Lives mattered a lot more than mine. He said that it's a great mantra, it's a true mantra. Black lives do matter, But when you're talking about an organization, you're talking about the leaders. So he was trying to pretty much give this, I guess, connotation, or trying to speak to how, some people say how, oh, Black Lives Matter is Marxist, or, they have another agenda, it's too extreme, And, Terry in the interview was also talking about how, there's some Black Lives Matter protesters who burn down buildings like Target and all that stuff, and that's too extreme and that's wrong. You all should watch a video with Kimberly Patrice Jones. I might link her video down below. She perfectly explains why people do that, why they looted, why they did all of this stuff, and you have to see both sides of the argument and really listen to what she has to say. But basically, other problematic tweets that Terry tweeted were, he said, are all white people bad? No. Are all black people good? No. Knowing this reality, I stand on my decision to unite with good people, no matter the race, creed, or ideology. Given the number of threats against this decision, I also decide to die on this hill. So clearly by that tweet, you can tell that Terry definitely believes that what he's saying is right. He's definitely very deep-rooted in his opinion and feels like y'all black people, like you people really need to pay attention to this. And here's the issue, is the fact that he says, are all white people bad? No. Okay, that's cool that he's highlighting that they are good white people. I would like to believe that the majority of them are cool, whatever. But then he says, are all black people good? Why does he say, are all black people good, instead of saying, are all black people bad? No. So that's also a problematic thing, is that, him trying to twist the conversation to basically put a spotlight of negativity on African Americans. And that's the issue that I have with people who are against the Black Lives Matter movement, is that yes, we understand that there is black on black crime, but that's not the creme of the issue, unless is it? And that's what I'm talking about today, is that is the Black Lives Matter movement, does it represent all black lives? Should it be representative of all black lives that are being killed? And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you guys a clip of the interview. The last 2 minutes is where people were really like coming for Don Lemon and were like, dude, what the F is wrong with you? So I'm just going to play those 2 minutes right now for you.
The Black Lives Matter movement was started because it was talking about police brutality. If you want an all Black Lives Matter movement that talks about gun violence in communities, including, black communities, then start that movement with that name. But that's not what Black Lives Matter is about. It's not an all-encompassing. So if you're talking about, if someone started a movement that said, cancer matters, and then someone comes in and said, why aren't you talking about HIV? It's not the same thing. We're talking about cancer. So the Black Lives Matter movement is about police brutality and injustice in that manner, not about what's happening in black neighborhoods. There are people who are working on that issue. And if you want to start that issue, why don't you start it? Do you understand what I'm saying?
But when you look at the organization, police brutality is not the only thing they're talking about.
I know that. I agree, but that's not what the Black Lives Matter movement is about, Terry. Black Lives Matter is about police brutality and about criminal justice. It's not about what happens in communities when it comes to crime, black on black crime. People who live near each other, black people, kill each other. Same as whites. 80-some% of white people are killed by white people because of proximity.
Very true.
It's the same thing with black people. That happens in every single neighborhood. But that doesn't, again, I'm not saying that's not important that those kids died, but it's a different movement.
Listen, I understand what you're saying. I totally understand. It is about police brutality. That should never be accepted. Yeah. I am not saying that that's not it, but there's more there. Okay. And when I look at, if they have more on their agenda, we need to ask them about what else is on that agenda other than police brutality. And that's all I'm doing. Questioning, warning, watching. And if that bothers you, now that bothers me. Because if I can't warn you, we are equal. If we're equal, I should be able to say something as equal.
I gotta go. We'll see you. Terry, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.